Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this mini-series here on the Lord Master channel. I said mini-series, which means that I might do about, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5 episodes. Just I know it's going to be short term, because I know many of you people are still expecting that Norse series that I'm going to do as part of the North Atlantic flavor pack. I mean, that's still coming on the Lord Master channel. I've decided to record this because, well, a small part of it is I'm bored, but the main thing really is for those that remember the old story of the South Indian Trojan War. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's the 8th episode of Chola from Crusader Kings 2. And so here on this mini-series, as I have already recorded all the other episodes, I just gave you a proper reintroduction of it by saying that this mini-series will be about how did it lead to this so-called South Indian Trojan War and all that, which is all because of a, for those that are familiar with the story, like the Iliad and the Odyssey, the whole epic cycle about how this Trojan prince seduced, it's kind of debated, or it's never been given an answer about did Helen really leave, or was she kidnapped, or did she fell for him and went to Troy and all that? Well, regardless, this for the purpose of this mini-series here is to see how all this went down, and this would lead to a war which, instead of a free captives war, which is what it was in the old Chola series, but here in this mini-series, it's actually going to be a war for a claim over this area up to the north of, in the area called Vengipura, which I sometimes refer to it as the Indian Troy, and this will be explained along the way, and all that and more, as well as other key characters involved, which are quite different from the old story. And finally, all these episodes will be posted on this same day that you're watching on, unless you're watching a day later or whenever you want it to come back to it. So I hope you people will enjoy this little passion project of mine, because I've always wanted to retell this story in a way, but in CK3 form. So I hope you enjoy. Okay. So this is Parântaka, Parântaka, who has been ruling for quite a while. Originally, it was a single county, or what it was called, the Nadu, which again, mind you, the mods are down in the description, since I really don't have much time to tell you all of it, except maybe a few along the way. We do have a large minority of Shaivists and a large minority of Santambara, as this is mainly Dingabara, which I, Parântaka, am a Dingabara Jain. Originally had these 3 traits, but picked up gregarious due to an event from before the events of this recording. And the zealous trait, that was picked up through an event as well. Religious related event, in which gives me a chance that I should ponder on abdication. But I do not wish to abdicate just yet. I have not performed one last act. So that way, my son and heir, Periyapillai, can take the throne. And he is also one of the Velai Kakara, which is King's Guard. That's what it roughly translates in the Tamil language. And he's a Shaivite. In fact, I'm the only one in the family who is Dingabara Jain. Well, actually my wife is, but it was through the influence to hers what made him a Jain. And practice these severe ascetic practices. Again, he is honest, temperate, and humble. These are virtues. Gregarious, zealous, and apathetic, which, due to stress-related events that he had, he went with it, because, that is a Jain way to do. He's also athletic and a confidant in addition to being celibate. Like just living a life of a true Jain. And of course, before this recording, deliberately shaved the head. Because if I were to become a Jain Muni, which I will soon, you've got to have no attentions of everything. No hair, no beard except for what little was left of it, because, you know, character models. And no clothes. As soon as I become a Muni, you will not see him wearing any clothes anymore. He will live just like the clergy. But I shall not abdicate just yet, which is a decision you could take if you are a zealous Jain, which is to ponder abdication. And yes, you can purchase dependable donkeys. That's up in this area. There's some donkeys there could buy. Could get it a little later for the next ruler. So, it has occurred to me that the best way to achieve moksha might be to abdicate and join a sangha as a monk. You have to be a Jain and zealous. Especially you got to have zealous. And have to be at peace. True to form. But the thing is, this is part of the Dharma Chakra mod, which I recommend you to use that mod if you're doing an Indian playthrough. Because they add a bit more flavor and decisions that relates to playing as a Hindu, Jain, Buddhist, and even unreformed Indian pagan faiths that you find in the more isolated parts of north central and northeastern India. And as you can see, you may have noticed already that date's down there. It's in the early 800s, and I know normally that you would start in the 867 start date, but I'm also using the more bookmarks mod, which is again a part of recreating. Well, not recreating. We'll get to that story, which will be quite similar. Which I know it's going to happen. Trust me when I tell you. I've foreseen it. I would love to meditate in seclusion just to get rid of some of the stress that I have, but not to worry. If I get stressed, I can always shun the food. And I've already have given my sons, sending them offers that these two are about to be married. Except for my third son, the bastard. Although I don't think you should say that negatively, because me being Jain, he's Hindu. Yes, he's an executioner because he is a fornicator. This is shunned in our faith, our Jyotish faiths. All because we know who the lover is. Kubira, my Muda Oran, which is spy master. Again, Tamil language terms. Seduced after gave her permission to travel freely with the court. That's what happened. She seduced him, not the other way around, after I gave her permission to travel freely with the court. Because, I'm a gregarious and a Jain man of peace. I says, let live. Live and let live. And now this happened. And as a penalty, I disinherited him, so he will not inherit any titles. But, as I'm a forgiving man, I gave him the position of executioner, court position, where the character's crimes are forgiven. Yes. So if anybody needs to be executed, which I don't have any prisoners, and I don't give out orders of execution, that is contrary to Jain ways. But if my Shavite sons were to do that, Parântaka is your man. So that's why he's a sinner. Yes. But he still has a purpose, and that is to be an executioner. And speaking of my sons, this is Vikramaditya. He rules Pandya Nadu. Pandya Nadu. Nadu, as you see the Tamil language spelling there. Yeah, he's soon to be married, as I already considered proposing for me. The Cheras still rule there. But the Pandya themselves, they're reduced to ruling in Tamilakam Nadu. Up north in Tamil Nadu, where the Pallavas used to be, but now this is ruled by this man who I appointed. It's like he was also one of the Parântaka. I decided to give him land there. He's also a Dingabara Jain, as you can see his faith there. But this area here, however, this area, the majority is Shaivas. But however, there's a small minority of Sinhalese people there, which they no doubt come from Lanka and shipped them over there. And there's also a large minority of the Kannada Davaru, which is the Kannada culture. This is part of the mod that I'm using, which is called Cultural and Religious Minorities, or Religious Culture Minorities, something like that. I mean, I'll give you another example. Like, say, over in this area, where this is located, which it's like, yes, it's ruled, no, not ruled, but the majority of faith there is Theravada Buddhist. But a small minority of them are Trika Shaivism, another form of Shaivism. And there's also a small minority of Tamils, as compared to up in Jaffna, where there are Tamils there, along with the aforementioned minorities of whomever lives there. And recently a small minority was expelled at the behest of this man, which is part of the laws, which I'll show you here. There's the culture minority policy and religious minority policy. We tolerate both of them, which we can convert them to either culture or faith whenever we want to. We plan on using most of those mods as you see down in the description for the upcoming North series, which is still planned, by the way. But now, as I introduced most of the relevant people here, I'm sure more will be introduced a little later. Now it's time for me to go on a pilgrimage. I will soon abdicate and let Periyapillai begin his rule. Before I abdicate, I must go on a pilgrimage. The holy sites are the places in our world that are closest to the gods. To see them myself prove my dedication as Dingabara. Prepare for the journey. I've been saving up my money for this. To go on a pilgrimage and spend more if any necessary during my travel there. Taking a pilgrimage and visiting a holy site known as a Tirtha is a place to help the pilgrim crossing over the ocean of samsara, which is full of pain and misery in order to attain moksha. While there are many Tirthas throughout the world, the question is, which one shall I opt for? Somnath, Radha, Nadula. Keep looking. Hastinapur in Vatsaguma. Pavupuri. That's down in Congo, that's next door. Sonagiri. Short pilgrimage. Tell you what, I remember in the old series, he went to Mount Ginnar. So therefore I will go to Mount Ginnar, which is going to be a long pilgrimage. So let's get going, shall we? As I make my departure plans, the question of which vow to make has come up. I could take the minor form of the 5 great vows for pilgrims visiting the Holy Tirtha. You could even decide to follow the lifestyle of an ascetic and fast during the trip, as you drink limited amounts of boiled water and live off the rations given you by strangers. Of course, you could also just stick to the normal vows as a member of the late. 5 great vows. Mahavratas, which is following the 5 Mahavratas, the 5 great vows of Jainism, which is these effects of cause, or take the 5 great vows and fast as well, the ascetic vow, which that one adds a moderate health penalty. But it's only temporary, okay? It's not gonna, have a premature death on your life. I mean, nobody would want that, right? Or stick to the anuvratas of the laity. But knowing that I would like to become a Muni once I abdicate, I shall take the ascetic vow. I shall take the 5 great vows and fast as well. And as I prepare for my journey, I know that I will travel safely under the protection of the gods, or in this case, the saviors. While I go with the saviors, my realm must wait, however long I may be gone. It is time to depart, and I hope nobody at court, which most of the people there are still Hindus rather than Dagobah Jains, which, again, I became a Jain because it's a personal choice. I told my children not to become Jains, but stick to your own religions, because it's a personal matter. It's time to depart. Take a drink. And also before recording, we started beefing up the size of the military. Greetings, my sensible liege. I gladly accept your marriage proposal. I'll graciously take the hand of your courtier, Nârani, in holy matrimony. May Parvati bless our union. Signed, Ilavarsan Vikramaditya of Pandya Nadu. Yes, this is Nârani, who's just married. Now, Nârani is also my friend. Yes, met long ago. Only because she's a fellow Jain, but she's not of Dagobah. She's Svetambara, the white clan. She's compassionate, temperate, and gregarious. Insightful thinker, and said to be enthralling, mesmerizing, and lovely. Nârani outshines most with her beauty. She is the most beautiful woman in the world. Nobody can match her beauty. And it was also due to, a little thing we did where it involves. It's like, okay, winner takes the bride. And it was Vikramaditya that won it. Oh, you'll find a spouse for yourself whenever I abdicate. Give me a moment. Would make an accomplished commander. We'll consider. Lost. I could have sworn this was supposed to be the path onwards. None of my companions or I have managed to find our way back to this pilgrimage route. Are we even looking at the right stars at night? It feels as if we've been wasting weeks. This is why we save up money for this. We must find a guide, no matter the cost. Plus, don't you know, if I were to... also bear in mind, I'm malnourished also. Not because of the ascetic vow. This came before the ascetic vow. This is due to living that lifestyle there. But if you were to get lost for about 5 years, no, that would lead to a premature death, which I would have not fulfilled my fulfillment to become a Muni. We must find a guide, no matter the cost. Oh, a poet too. Anything else do I have in mind? But however, I am not without enemies. I do have two rivals. Actually, in fact, one rival, one nemesis. This is my rival, Raja Pratihara, languished in my prison, although I later released her out of goodwill. This was due to wartime circumstance from an earlier age. And this is my nemesis, Tantivaman, who's from the Pallavas. It's because we declared war on him during our expansion to expand our realm of Tamilakam. We drove them out of there. Although I didn't take command of any armies per se. Now, I am finally here, body and soul, at the great Derasa of Nadula. As the Upadhyay offers me blessings, I reflect on everything that had to happen for the gods to bring me here at this moment in time. By gods, you mean the Tirthanakaras. I have walked the holy path. And once I return, then I will abdicate. And as for that inspired person who is here, we'll sponsor him when Periyapillai's rule will begin. He has to be patient. And as the men-at-arms number scrolls, I'm sure Periyapillai will put them to good use, wherever he may be fighting, but it should not be of my concern, because once I become a Muni, I'll be out of the court. My journey has been a long one, but I've finally come home again. While much remains the same, something has changed in how the New Grantha and Upadhyayas treat me. I've undergone a journey of a holy man, and they insisted has changed something about me, whether I could see it myself or not. It is good to be home. So therefore, the ascetic vows is complete, but quite exhausted for the next 2 months. So exhaustion weighs heavily in this character. Now let's make that official. Well, actually I'm a little stressed. I'll talk to Confidant first, and then ponder abdication. So to be true citizens of rare treat, nothing eases the mind like a good conversation with someone you can trust. Easily makes problems seem much smaller. You'll lose some stress. We'd hate to get another stress trade while he's a Muni, huh? Now, listen here. After a long conversation with my friend, Mahasena, I could feel my thoughts calming down. However, as I rejoined the court, I could see the jealousy on the courtier's face. After all, who would want to have Mahasena's trust? Yes, he is a Senales, but he's a Hindu. He's also the Tirupati. What that position is the Chancellor. And as for future reference, the Parântaka Kanako, I don't know if my Tamil is great. This is Stewart. Sanapati is Marshal. Parudeve, I don't know if that's Tamil or Marathi because she's Marathi. And Singhai is Rome priest. Something along those lines. There, that should keep the stress out well enough. Now, it's time for me to abdicate. That's what this early part of the episode was about. I mean, if you were to meditate seclusion, it takes months, and I don't want to wait any more months. My son is getting impatient. He wants the throne, and we will give it to him. But do keep in mind, he's a bit rather ambitious. So it would be most wise to give him the throne now. Time to decide on abdication. I have decided to ponder the merits of abdicating your throne. If you choose to abdicate and become a monk, you will renounce all worldly possessions and dedicate yourself to living by the 5 great vows and striving to live a virtuous life in order to achieve moksha. Of course, doing so includes renouncing the throne and letting your heir take over. Is this something you wish to go through with? My name is Parântaka. Periyapillai, the name of my son. He's going to become the next ruler here. He will have all the titles that he will inherit, as we know that his younger brother, who committed a crime of adultery and punished by being disinherited, and later his crimes were forgiven in being an executioner. That is his sort of punishment, but forgivable. All that. But still. I hereby renounce my throne. Shall become a Muni, which is a Jain term for monk. So he will not inherit titles, nor he will be married. What could that mean? He would be automatically divorcing his wife here, who has supported him and is responsible for introducing Jainism to him. Keep in mind, before he became a Jain, he was a Hindu like everybody else, but it was through her that influenced him to convert to Jainism, Dingabara Jainism, and he truly lived that Jain lifestyle, and this is where he gets to this point. So he will gain 1 level of devotion, which he will become a paragon of virtue. And we don't know how long he'll live, but things for certain. We'll miss him, in a way. At least the family will miss him. Not really the siblings, they're the half-siblings from another dynasty. So, farewell, Parântaka. Safe travels. Been deposed. So there you have it. Parântaka no longer wears the clothes, just like a Dingabara monk should. Not to mention a bit malnourished, which is a part of that appearance. Oh, I guess he's still married. At court in Nadula. So he went to the same place where he went to the pilgrimage. That's good to know. And now, that's what we knew about Parântaka. He was a bit dreaded due to past wars, which he did not lead the armies to battle. He was illustrious. He recently became a paragon of virtue upon abdication. He was a strategist. I mean, he had a military background. Even during the Jain years, he never shied away from all this. Had fought in 7 different offensive wars, which is what caused the expansion of the land that we know as Tamilakam. And that includes the Maldives. And now, Vengi Periyapillai ascends to the throne. Having mastered many skills, he is sure to be admired by his subjects. So, came in at 33. So now we have Vraj Purohit, as is now Hindus who are running things, not Jains, except for the Vassal up there. He doesn't endorse me yet. Oh, look, you're ambitious like me. Plus you're craven. What good are you for anyway? We do not get along because, it's like, yes, we're both humble, but we're also both ambitious. The only difference is that you're craven and I am trusting. So you gotta learn to trust me. And you will soon earn my trust. That's the first thing we'd be doing. Ah, excellent. Most of the people are still here. Let me see. Oh, that's good enough actually. So God, so stalwart leader, chivalric dominance, never back down, household guard, so we still have a lot of king's guard with us. There's also a bit of a romancer. Promising prospects. I mean, he did not get married, but he will soon be. Find a woman of choice very soon. But to be honest, I'm a little jealous of my brother. Being married to the most beautiful woman in the world and all that. But I'm trying to think. Because there's no reason to increase the chivalry focus on. But I do recall there is one province that's having a bit of control issues. So I would go for authority focus first. Maybe I'll pick up this first. But do I wish to become gallant? It helps. A little bit of dread would do. I mentioned control. This area. This was recently conquered. And now I have authority focus, and now need this man to put it to work. It'll take 60 years to get it fully under control. I'm a bit quite stressed, but not too stressed to the point of a mental break. But still. Oh, brother, what happened to you? Last time when we saw you, you weren't wounded, now you just got wounded. Is it due to sparring practice or some little event that I'm not aware of? It does have one friend. Oh, it's from childhood. But now, here's the situation here of the reason why I'm the ruler now. As our size of our army grows, and we got to get the Rajpurohit on our side, which, how on earth do you say that name? That's the longest first name I've ever seen of the list of Tamil names. But anyways, because I noticed that that there is one target I would love to have for more riches, and that's Vengipura. And this area there, Mudigunda, which is a home of the Kollur Mines. It's the diamond mine. Look at the tax and the holding tax and all that. Controlling that would give us a lot more wealth. That is where the real treasure is. But there's one problem. Vengi Chalukya has many allies, and one of the notable allies, I see them down there, Lambakanna. Lambakanna is only allied with the what's left of the Pallavas and Vengi Chalukya, which kind of gives me the idea of this is more of an either or. There's no subjugate, but you could demand tribute. This is part of the more bookmarks mod. Tributaries are a thing. What is a tributary? A tributary state is a term for a pre-modern state in a particular type of subordinate relation to a more powerful state, which involves the sending a regular token of submission or tribute to the superior power, suzu. This token often took the form of substantial transfer of wealth, such as delivery of gold, produce, or slaves, so that tribute might be best seen as payment of protection money. I want them to be tributary, which we can do that, but I'd rather fight them, as I'm a bigger country than them. But I'd rather fight a tributary war. But instead of a tributary, the other alternative is, why don't we have an alliance with them? And I thought of a bit of a cruel way to ally with them. Since we're Hindus now, you can raise them all as raiders, which is part of the Mandala form of government, which allows the raiding for foreign countries for loot. The mandala system is used as a way to organize the state as a circle, or mandala, around the central metropolis. In this way, the political and geographic realities can shape the level of direct control from the center, from subject states in the periphery to the more directly controlled sub-cities closer to the center. That's what that is. And as mentioned before, if you are a Hindu, you're allowed to raid. If you're a Jain, you're not allowed to raid. So I thought of an idea of why don't we raid Lanka, especially when we get to the capital. Take one of their children, not just for money, if we capture many. Not just for money, from the loot that we get, but also force them into to giving me a hook, a favor. And I will use that hook to have a marriage alliance with them, because I know they'll likely refuse by saying too many alliances. But nope, we're going to force them. So that way in a future conflict, that when we fight against Vengi Chalukya for Vengipura, for the diamond mines, that's the name of the game here. So we won't have another country to attack us from behind. That's what we're going to try to prevent here. That's the idea. That is my ambitious plan. There are a few notable characters here that's been pinned, because this is something you ought to look out for, such as father, myself, my brother, my other executioner brother, my sister-in-law, most beautiful woman in the world, and then there's this man who serves as another one of the Parântaka. In fact, he's our best. Diligent, brave, wrathful, raver, irritable. In fact, this is a man that should lead the raid expedition to Lanka, because he has the skills. Yeah, he should be a raider. Not to mention he's Herculean. He is strong as Bim. And of course there's the Vassal Pandya Nadu, the shrewd one, who's also a military engineer, which is due to martial related the trained commander, so he got that. So he might be of future use in a future war, especially for Vengipura. I often keep mentioning Vengipura, which we gotta get him endorsing us first before we send out the fabricated claim over there. But as the build-up continues, and this is for one of the other mods, immersive realm espionage. I'm sending my spy master, the Madar Oran, to check out the strength. The purpose of this is the opportunity to spawn another road successfully. The precision of the result depends on the capability of my spy master. We got to know how much gold do they have, how many troops do they have. Although that knowledge alone. But since our intrigue skill is good, so we don't know if we'll have the precise information, but we could get the basic ideas. You gotta participate. This is partly the reason why we can only see the number of soldiers there, and this is why you don't see theirs. And then there's this man here who's actually the inspired person that we've been wondering about. He is a Hona. Yes, descendant of the White Huns. He's one of us, but he wants to go to Northern Africa, part of the venture inspiration. His skill is legendary and renowned throughout the world. We'll sponsor that inspiration. Here's 130 gold for this. So venture inspirations are based on prowess, diplomacy, and learning. So he'll be off to Northern Africa. Meanwhile, I should hold court. So yes, in order to be a successful ruler, I must actually rule in the various dilemmas and situations which arise with my sphere of influence. By officially inviting all my subjects to travel to my castle, petition me for aid, I'll be able to stay informed, sway the balance of power, and visibly show the world that I'm in charge. This is my first day, my very first day in court, so bring on the petitioners. Sitting on my throne, I gesture for my guards to open the doors of the hall. A stream of people file in, some lining up in front of my throne, while others move out of the way so they could simply observe the proceedings. After several moments, all movement in the chamber has ceased. All faces turn towards mine expectantly. In front of me, I count 3 petitioners lined up in an orderly row, waiting for me to call on them. gesture for the first in line to approach. A civic rivalry. Pata Nasami Tanti Varman, who's clearly working himself out about something, greets me. My Uriah, the dogs of Kerian, thinks the better of us. These views. Cracking their hearty jokes each market day. Markantayan of our Komkat needs to be put in his place, and those heathen fools made to expect Kovala, leading Patanam of Chola Nadu. Get used to Tamil language words for this part of the series. Well, I am a bit stressed, and I will lose stress because I'm an aspiring blade master, which Periyapillai got that while he was serving on the battlefield. So I will say bold words, but you will settle this with action. So they duel. So regardless who wins this duel, there will be some popular justice around there. The Varman wins the duel. A holy tomb. The peasant in front of me seems about to explode with excitement. My lord, the miracles, the holiness, we've been blessed. Her enthusiastic ramblings are confusing. I finally get the gist of it. She wants me to sponsor the cult of a local saint who's been recently died in Sivakasi. Kollur was a miracle maker in life, known for living all his life atop a pillar and eating garlic without smelling. His tomb has attracted devoted visitors from all over the realm. I know I want this man to get on my side. Make Sivakasi a temple holding. He's spending quite a bit of piety for this. But that's over in Madurai. That's Madurai. That's where my brother is. Again, I don't hold that area. That belongs to Vikram. So I don't, but since he's been thrown there, I don't think he's been there for long. So I think I could help my brother, give him some more control, and make that area a temple holding. At least I don't have to spend my money for it. Frontier Fracas. The next petitioner is evidently somewhat a stranger to this court, as I do not recognize her. In the eyes of Sanapati, Sivakatavan, I've been on them since they first entered. My lord, I've come to declare that the people of Nellore refuse to pay their tax to be levied upon us. In times past, our land and people were granted rights and privileges which your recent executions ignore. We requested you address our concerns fairly, or else. A palaver. You know, they have issues with my father, but they don't have issues with me, so don't get too worked up. But we shall see. I do want more control, so this might be the idea. Imprison this wretch, Sanapati, and then crush the rabble. So 92% chance that these upstart peasants are going to be defeated, while I gain 100 martial lifestyle experience. And the Sanapati will be experiencing crowd control, so he'll be more effective at increased control in county council task. Tax revolt crushed. As the last petitioner departs, various courtiers follow him out of the room, having business to attend elsewhere. Others remain. They're talking amongst themselves about the recent proceedings. Soon, the ceremonial formality of the proceedings dropped away entirely, with the hum and bustle of the normal courtly life taking its place. My business here is done. Not bad for your first day. Oh, I didn't show you some of the... Oh, we don't have any court artifacts at all. Well, that could change, since that man's going to Africa soon. Now, we've imprisoned this person. Pandya Nadu. Too bad you don't have any money in you. I don't think it'll be wise to go to the court. Probably just get her out of there. With a hook, why not? She might be of use one day. Who else? Who else? This was the 2 years ago we took the Maldives, which was the last war that was fought. That's the reason why you see some of those people there. Some of you might be of use. Because we do need good fighting men. Others, not so much. The rest you stay in our house arrest till further notice. Why on earth would you want to do that? Why on earth would you want to do that, brother? Bringing the father back to the throne went on his own terms. Could you just leave him alone? The Shavite world was appalled to learn that my Raj Purohit has been scheming to acquire additional property and titles for himself, apparently unsatisfied with many old leagues he already possesses. While scandals among Brahmins are nothing new, it is disquieting for one to occur so close to home. I was trying to get this man to endorse me, but... One second. This is one thing I've not done yet. That everybody should. Determined bhakti. Every devout Shavite should have bhakti, or devotion to a specific god or goddess who most strongly resonates with their soul. I should contemplate on various divine beings and decide which one calls me the most. Bhakti can be likened to feelings of fondness, devotion, and worship, but none of these fully encompass the concept. By devoting myself to an avatar divinity, I'm committing myself to them in body and soul. Shaivism focus on veneration of the many incarnations of Shiva the Destroyer. Of these aspects, one must speak to me more than the others. Let me see. Anybody else? I'll go for Dakshinamurti, god of all forms of learning. The god of in all of its forms. So this is for monthly lifestyle experience increase, which is big. A religious vassal opinion, which you respect me a little more. But there's one other issue. I could condemn him, even though that makes me humble. As long as it keeps me pious, we'll soon get along again. Gained a favor hook. This is back to wander to who knows where. Upon the block. This is between my brother and a prisoner. My restrained executioner. Parântaka mopes about the palace, shaking his head. Of all the subtlety of the petulant child. At last I could tolerate these sorry displays of my code no more in the man. What is the matter? He's taken aback and answered, My lord, forgive me. It's just I've not a good kill in weeks. Come, that godless infidel, some of the good, is just languishing. We've announced the execution date. Allow me to put that irredeemable fiend out of her misery. You say that's because she's a Buddhist, do you? Or are you just from that law? She found it fine. It'll up the court grandeur a bit, but that's gonna get me stressed. I don't have any stress-related traits, so why not just take the hit? So I'll just say, very well, it's not good this time. I guess I'll order that execution just at your behest. Friends and lovers. Oh, they're both in Chola Mandalum. Oh, zealous. And he's also one of the fighters. I'll tell you what, whenever... Oh, don't worry, I got plans, knowing we have a radio expedition coming to your old homeland of Lanka. Do it. Didn't want to do it, but I had to do it. I had to do it. To the benevolent era, yeah, Periyapillai of Tamilakam. So now, I got married, which I did it during my breaks. Married to this woman, Maya, who really likes me. Due to a couple of things. Also, she's chaste, but vengeful. But is quite intimidating to me. Now, guilt and shame is plaguing me. Like all of my sins, my flaws, my failings. These dark thoughts distract me from my responsibilities, keep me awake at night. I feel like I must do something to put this mental anguish. But what could possibly help? Contrite? No. Vigilant? Boring? That? No, I must be strong and resist these impulses. I know what to do. Think! Yeah, well, soon the army's ready, and then we'll get them on our side again. And then we have more troops, and I'll be ready. So, I should go meditate. Only through meditation we come to understand the true nature of the universe. Though it means neglecting my other responsibilities, by retreating into seclusion from meditation, I may learn more about myself and the universe I inhabit. I might lose stress, gain traits, or even increase my learning skill. Embarking on an inner journey through meditation is no trivial thing. Many preparations need to be made, the least of which is to decide where shall I retreat to. The location I choose to meditate will have the influence on my outcome of the journey. Go for the rolling hills of Melpadi. Let's increase the speed a little. I am meditating over there. It's only for a few months. Keep that well in mind. The time has come for me to depart on my adventure. I thought you already left. You just did up as well as you can while weight down the heavy bags. Before I leave, please tell me, is there anything specific I wanted to keep an eye peeled during my journey? Well, since my cord is empty, think of it. I want to possess something truly unique. Since your skill is legendary, you said. And you are a descendant of the White Huns. So, find something that is truly unique to one another. Also, these relics, what I have. This is a spear that belonged to my father. Also, got his lantern, a Tamabruch, and Indric's horn from a mythological Indrik. It increases that fertility. Oh, that reminds me, these precisions. What are all these graphics? That's part of the more bookmarks mod of something that was integrated to the mod. While he's still around, give him the seneschal position, so we could get this back under control faster. So now it'll only take 4 years instead of 6. Doubtful of Lambakanna. My loyal servants inform me that spies under the command of your Nârani been intercepting information about private affairs in my realm. I am disgusted by your behavior, and I want you to be aware that such dishonorable behavior will not pass by me unchecked. I would like to formally apologize. Trust me, I got onto the throne recently. It's a misunderstanding, alright? I'm relatively new here. Come up with some silly excuse. A group of Kannada Varu peasants moved from Talakadu to the Kollur Mines. So they came from there and they moved over there. Small minority established along with the other small minorities, including a Jewish minority in the area. Including there too. It's part of the Yehudim heritage, Israelite heritage. They've always been there. Okay. Greetings, Periyapillai of Tamilakam. My scouts returned from the county of Nârani last night with the information you requested. According to the reports, King Dapula of Lanka has gathered just slightly fewer men under his banner compared to you. Since there is no active conflict, this number is unlikely to have changed at the time it took for this information to arrive to you. Reports also suggest that his economic strength is a little smaller than yours. The scouts were able to identify 8 individual veterans leading the armies under his banner. Well done, Kubera. Your loyalty is appreciated. I have the information that I need. What's going on? All 3 of you. Especially you. But you're negotiable. I know y'all want father back on the throne, but he chose to live a life of a Muni. The mother is still here, but he is not. He went to Nadula. He went to go to where he went to the pilgrimage, where the Tirtan and Karas will no doubt be waiting for him one day. Crud. You got a couple of months. But hey, you're Jan. You're a reasonable man. I mean, after all, I am meditating, so once I get back here, I gotta rectify this situation here. Oh, by the way, since Mother's still here, let me see, there's this position somewhere. I wonder if it's available. Queen Mother. There it is. I know your health is poor, but at least stay with us for a while. The effect on Liege. Close family opinion, house opinion. Just, yeah. So maybe the presence of the Queen Mother, which the Queen Mother assists the Legion functions at court as well as the family. One well-versed in diplomacy of soldiers would be a formidable aid. So that's the effect on me. That's given. Anybody else? Vikram, how'd you like to be the master of the horse? Oh, yeah, kiss up to him. Yeah, you'll also be the master hunt of the hunt and the horse. You get to be the architect. And as for you, the Chera ruler, you've got excellent diplomacy. There's gotta be a place for you. Think about it. I was expecting somebody else to have that job. I'm looking for one that would fit for diplomacy. Master of grandeur. We don't have elephants. Aha! The Bangiga, which is a minister of animals distributing grants of charity to the poor and subjects in need. I need to get him on this. Missionaries aren't necessary because we aren't here converting people. Yeah, they have so many core positions when you have the more bookmarks mod active. Do not fret. It's just they barely reached the threshold. But we're negotiating. We're just rewarding them court positions. And also, Mother is still here, so maybe she could reason with them. A group of Tamil Digabarjins moved from Cholamandalam to Tiruvannamalai. They moved up north. The clear views from the hilltops of Malpati lended themselves well to pensive reflection. Meditating in isolation, I was suddenly struck with an epiphany. The presence of man and the world, how we fit into the natural order. Another piece of the universal puzzle. Put into place. The experience will stay with me forever. So you increase your learning skill a bit. +1. Every little bit helps. What's your diplomacy skill? Not good. Devi. Okay, that is queen in Tamil language. My liege, venture Yudhishthira sends word. Sir exclaims another. For 10 days and 10 nights, me and my party has been hiding. The bandit lord Karid set a roadblock on the road we must travel. What do you advise? Caution, or should we fight them? Trusting Shiva to keep us safe. Signed Yudhishthira the Parchment. Seems quite a predictable. And of Himiara. Ah. There's no chance of him getting killed, so if I were you, no guts, no glory. Make them pay for wasting my time. Because it seems you are a pretty good fighter. So there's a 29% chance that he bravely slays him, and 66% chance that he successfully drove off the bandits. But there's no chance of him getting killed. Very, very low chance of him being wounded. He successfully drove off the bandits, so adventure inspiration might be of slightly higher quality. Is being constructed. Again, there's a couple of months. Okay, he's the leader of the faction, so He's the one that you gotta talk to. Unless you give him more court positions. I could send him money or... modify vassal contract. Here's a deal that we can make. Opinion vassal. Well, it's your realm, so I'll give you the religious rights protected and pays less. And you can declare whatever war you want, although it's highly doubtful, because you ain't got no claims. Just a +10. That's it. Don't want to give you too much. Otherwise, that'll be an issue. Unacceptable behavior. It's my aunt. And one of my fighters. Lately, Aruvanke is gaining notoriety due to her poor behavior at my court. She forgets basic etiquette. Has insulted more than one visiting envoy on occasion. And overall, often disregards court protocol. Many suspect that Aruvanke is related to me. She believes she could get away with such lack of manners and propriety. Things have gotten bad that this man has approached me to discuss this. My lord, you gotta do something about Aruvanke's unacceptable conduct, he beseeches me. It's not only bad in itself, it reflects poorly on you. As the Araya, you need to maintain discipline in your court, especially of your own family. She's my aunt and antiquarian. Is half-aunt even a term? Because she's my aunt, because, you know, they are half-siblings to my father. This isn't going to work. As stated before, this may not work. I'll give her a stern talking to. Does not agree with my demands. Chastised you in public. Is everybody in my life bananas or what? $150. There's no urgency. Actually, don't you know? Foreign affairs, domestic affairs, do that instead. Why do you keep forgetting about that? That's a thing, you know. Now he started endorsing me. Therefore we got more levies, and therefore the threshold should be lowered. I hope. Because now I have more of their levies. I dream of the desert. My liege, my journey to Africa is underway, and I had joined a camel train traversing the woodland. I sent you a piece of jewelry one of my fellow travelers granted me. A most delicate necklace covered in ostrich shell beads. I suppose you haven't seen an ostrich. A fine find. I'll wear it myself. Let me see that. A necklace of ostrich shell beads. That's your fancy attraction. A delicate piece of jewelry and a brilliant white hair. Sent to Periyapillai by Yudhishthira during his travels. This is what I want. I'd like to fight them in a tributary war. But it seems that my... say that word again. My Munda Oran says that the strength that they're slightly weaker than us. But we're only increasing our strength a little further, which we can do that, and we can afford it, but I need them on my side. Especially you. When you're all positive opinion, that means you can provide me with more levies. And if I'm endorsing me now... Here it is. Unless I give you a position. Oh, yes. Why didn't I think of it? I remember seeing you there. You were very effective with that, so you'll definitely help them. And soon, we will all cooperate. Because I want them to be paying tribute to me. So that way we can knock them out, and then we'll eventually look north to Vengipura. They are assembling. They've been raided, so they're going to fight back against the raiders. That's what they're doing. Plus it gives us the idea of how many troops do they have. That's a good preview of what they have fully. They have 4,000, so strength is similar. They have 9 veterans, including those of the Vengi Chalukya. 300 armored footmen, 400 pikemen, 700 light footmen, and 30 onagas. Yes, and many levies. And this is their commander, who is from Vengipura. That's good to know. A little bit of reconnaissance work don't hurt. So, this is how it's gonna go. We will, once we have this faction disband, declare war against Lanka, and hopefully be a quick victory. Make them a tributary to us, because as a tributary, we can call them into our wars. So we can say in a future war against them, Lanka will be siding with us, and not with them. Therefore, advantage us. You got that? Twisted Turd's fate had always been my advantage. Shiva knows I was cursed the day I met Dante Varman. The day, however, that curse was lifted, fate smiled upon her and brought that vile debauch to his grave. Not one day too soon. He was killed. Died under mysterious circumstances, but it says killed by Rudrama. The Impaler. Wait a minute. Isn't he... Or am I thinking of that one? Father, who was your nemesis? Dante Varman III. No. This is the second, with the Tres. Yes. Don't worry, you live far away from them, so you shouldn't worry too much about it. I see. It's almost 300, so I suggest you send them the gift now, before things get out of hand. Martial guidance. All we need is Son Nadu to be on our side, and then we'll have more levies, and then we'll be ready to go to war. Again, we considered a raid, but I think a tributary war will do just as good. Just let him do his work organically. And then eventually, that faction should be disbanded. But it was you that started it. You're the one that says, I want my father back. No, you're not. Father's not coming back, because he says so. Give it a noble Tamil culture. I forgot, under this form of government, the mandalas, you're allowed to hold cities, in addition to castle holdings. That's what gives. Okay. How much money do I have to send you? 150 as well. Got a niece. Yeah, send it. Okay, once this is complete in in the next month or so. Then start showing your brother. Don't worry about it too much. He'll get over his anger. Just want you to disband that faction. Because I do not want to be alone in this world. Fate smiles upon me. My wife put it heavy. Maya is bearing my child. I cannot wait to hold the baby in my arms. He's left the faction, therefore too weak to send an ultimatum. And in turn, I'll get him to sway on my side, and then be alright. So, there should be no doubt it'll be this year. This year we'll finally go to war against Lanka to make them pay tribute to us. Although they may attack us from behind, but we hope for a swift victory over them in a pitched battle, and then march to their capital and capture it. But if we capture the ruler or his heirs, then we'll be grand. Think. Frantic point. It takes me a while to process. We shall assemble here. So here's how long it's going to take in a hypothetical. It takes 8 days to gather. And if we were to march straight to there, it'll take us 3 months. It would take a couple of more days for Vengi Chalukya to assemble their troops over, and it'll likely march into the northern lands rather than by sea. So, feed them, get them off our backs, and then we'll be good. That's what we want. Perhaps there is another way. Hey. We forgot, because in the Shivite faith, we have the puja, where rulers can host other characters as an honored guest, spending piety in exchange for increased opinion. Aha! Didn't think that. So, I'll be spending most of this piety, and I gotta do something about that in the future. But just want you to be with us a little more. So hosted you as the honored guest. And you got a good dog too. That's good to know. And if I ever want to get more piety again, then I am going to have to go on a pilgrimage. Probably just take the shortest route, and then you'll have the pilgrim trade, and then you could get it in no time. How long will these donkeys be around? For another 4 years. Then we'll start saving up some money and go get me some dependable donkeys, because you see here that donkeys are an often unappreciated part of our community. A part of my realm is known for having very reliable and capable donkeys. Having some could be useful, as they might have a variety of applications for my son, my soldiers, or my servants at home. So if you were to spend a large amount of money, all of this would go up. And if you're having issues with the piety situation again, remember, once in a lifetime, you can reinforce those Silk Road communities. The Indian one would be the most likely. Now move that down here again. So. We can make most of our money through war. So we just have to defeat them in a pitch battle, go straight for the capital, capture everybody, we win. That's going to be tribute war. Do it before the Chalukya up there interferes in our affairs. Which may be costly, but it's something that must be done. I could demand tribute, but I want blood. Sounds a little. So this is a temporary tributary. Gotta remember all this. enforce the demands, just the only way is just claim its tributary. We're not here for territory. And I'll be spending quite a bit of prestige for this. So, let's do it. We're taking attrition, but we could take Jaffna, but some of the Tamils live there, so I don't want to be a bother to them, well, quite honestly. I was going to take attrition because I recall if you have this man with Reaver, I think you should take less losses when you cross over unfriendly territory. We're not here for raid. That was the original plan, but we decided no, make up a tributary. Have them on our side. That'd be much more better. Takes a week to assemble a large army such as this. So, look, it says 49 casualties. If I was in charge, we'd be taking close to 200. But as long as Vijayalaya is around, our own bin, we will take much less casualties while going overland for our march to the capital. And it's going to take a while for them to assemble their army since they are of a similar, if not slightly larger size than ours. But what they do not have is that we have very good fighters. Takes a while to cross this land bridge there. Nowadays, land bridges exist. Sri Lanka is an island. Back then, it used to be connected with the rest of India back in the old days. So we'll be bypassing Tamilakam territory. Serve the crown will do just to get the control bit up more. And next time get strict organization. So I could get this controlled faster. And don't forget the other part of the plan. Fabricate the claim on Vengipura. I've talked of it. Now we have to make this a reality in a few years. Oh, crud. Stop. Vikram, get the organizer. We gotta get moving fast. They're taking the sea route. They're gonna be heading to Madurai. Or back out to sea. We'll catch them. Head straight to Madurai. Defeat their army in the pitch battle, then occupy the capital. That is our intention. I'll be there. Hang on. As expected, Chalukya is trying to besiege Nârani. As long as they stay up north and away from my capital, that's good. Because we want to defeat the army and then head down to the capital. Then the war is won before they could do any significant damage to us. I will take charge because I have the most advantage and I'm an aggressive attacker. Nothing will save Periyapillai but the blood of his enemies. 2 days, and we arrive in 4 days. We'll catch him by then. The king is in the army. He's leading the army. If we capture him in battle, then the war will be won. Even though I would much prefer to defeat the army, go down into their capital and capture it, and his children and his heirs, and then I will ransom one of them for a hook. So that way we could try to form an alliance, just to make dang sure. We're mauling them. There he is, shouts a voice over my shoulder. It's Periyapillai, says someone else from another direction. Where are they coming from? I think to myself, whilst continuously fought off more and more foes. After a prolonged period of combat, my nearby soldiers desperately try to protect me, but as their numbers dwindle, I begin to take hits on a larger quantity of enemies. The last of my personal guard falls dead on the floor. I look to see myself surrounded, separated by a short distance from the rest of my army. They have me 10 to 1. Oh. Let me live, I beg you. After retreating for immediate combat to assess my situation, I noticed the damage my body has received. Whilst it's not absolutely lethal, it's certainly something to be concerned with. Noticing my concern, my father and brother, Vikramaditya, who is over, convinced he's enough trained in medical field to give me emergency attention amidst the battle. I don't know about you, but I trust you. Do what you can. This treatment helps a lot. It's successful. As the battle progresses, it takes time to sit back from the combat and observe my forces and the tactical decisions I may need to make to ensure victory. During my time observing my army's strategic potential, I notice a handful of fighters from my own levies making significant progress on the flank of the enemy's charge. One individual particularly catches my eyes. I watch him single-handedly take down 4 opponents on their own. Looking left to right, I observe the rest of my army and ponder the thought that I may need new fresh blood for my ranks at some point. As I glance over at the young soldier fighting boldly, I wonder maybe I should consider his skills as a fighter. Who's that? Bring him to me. Rajakara. That's his name. He's 16. Young man. 16. That's excellent. I'll have you join our ranks once this war is over. See how much there'll be left of them. Glory's widely known. Yeah, I don't have as much advantage because I'm a desperate coward. This calls for a decision. Okay, once you get to Mana, and we have to switch over to cross through unfriendly territory. Unfortunately, there's not that many people qualified to be a physician, but this old Jain Muni will have to do. He'll have to treat my wounds. Okay, that's just one battle. Seven months now. Five, four, three, two, one. Switch commanders. Come on, big man. Gotta be heading that way. Be there in 50 days. Just have to get through. Well, actually, this is not hostile territory. Move a little fast. Come on. Vikram. Switch commanders before the day of the arrival. Switch. Less casualties. There'll be another day. Let's say 15 days we'll be arriving there. But with him, 3 days, cut off 3 days. So you gotta be wise. My lord, a messenger of your venture, Yudhishthira. The 7th says enemy school. My search led me to the forest of Kotte. That sounds familiar. That's Kotte. Oh, he's in our army, so who knows? They're notoriously bear-infested, but I have a good reason to think that my goal is near. Expect my return soon, signed Yudhishthira. Scroll reads. You know we're right here, right? Do bears live in Lanka? Ooh. By Shiva, I hope he doesn't have to fight one. He's overcome by a charging wild bear. He got wounded, he's been maimed. He'll live. He'll learn. But hey, at least you tried. Switch. A few days. Alright, we made it. 14 months! They fortified this place well. Earth ramparts. Oh, of course they did. This is a forest territory after all. It's all forest, no jungle. Well, you're the only one who's qualified for this, so you better get to work. It's not going to make much difference of once, but the siege events, it'll keep coming up, and then when things will happen, then we'll have it. They're about to take no longer. We got a long way to go. With the baby cradled in her arms, Maya looks up to me, her face surprisingly serene. Husband, dearest, I think we should name her Maya, after me. What do you say? Name it after you? Actually, I had something else in mind. Think of it. Iluvanai. It'll do. They stopped. They're going by sea. They're gonna regroup with them. And they're gonna attack us down here, no doubt. Even though we're in a bad situation. And perhaps we should have taken, you know, this Anuradpur, we should have taken that first. That's got a lower fort level. And with the absence of siege weapons, things might make it harder. But if they go to our capital, then we're gonna have to get out of here. We'll see how... Now they're going to be heading to Vassal. Now they're going to Madurai. Yeah, going for Madurai. You know, son lives there. No, niece lives there, excuse me. And I do have plenty of siege weapons. But am I willing to sacrifice Madurai to get to this capital? As it'll take a year or possibly less to get them. There's plenty of loot, no doubt, but once you take this, it'll also take a while for them to try to get it back. You're still into this? Just drop it. Look, and it'll be worth it when we capture all of his children and heirs after this siege. We just need the supplies down, and that'll make our job easier. There it is. Some siege progress. It's just we didn't think this through. Alright. Desertion, there's siege progress. It's just as expected to be done by around July. Just out of desperation. We just hope your wife doesn't get captured. For bit. For all the authority I suppose he wields the Uriah, I cannot be everywhere in the realm at once. There will always be those who forget to obey my orders once my attention is turned elsewhere. This is where my father Parântaka could come in, who has been faithfully enforcing my degrees in court. Could he serve as my right-hand man and take a more active role in administrating my realm? He hasn't returned here, but... Listen, Parântaka, my father, he will attain moksha, and then he will leave this world. But knowing myself, I'll just say, I can handle everything myself if I work harder. Plus, a lot of prestige is just bragging rights. Who's the leader of the siege? Vengi Chalukya. Just gotta remember, Madurai is about to fall, and there's a lot of loot that they'll be taking. My men have learned from the survivors found that the nobility of the Khotans was led away, humiliated and in chains. My niece has been imprisoned. Those bastards. Who else did they take? They have my sister-in-law. Oh, that's no good. 3 months, don't let up. I don't want to leave it. We know they're coming, but... There's some defender advantage. When we occupy it, we may have some advantage defending. No, take it up to the hills. That is more defendable position. They even got pound pens. Yeah. So once we take it over, stay here, resupply, reinforce, and stay up in the hills, knowing they're going to be coming with full force. Just a couple more days. While hosting Lord's Lees, realms near and far, Sabtis portray my Parântaka Kanakaku. In a good lights present themselves. My lord, pray tell, who is the most chivalrous person you heard of? Gotta kiss up to him a little. You, without a doubt. Just simply get him out of that faction. One more month. Just one more month. We know they're gonna be here soon. They'll be in cut soon. Okay. They will be there in 11 days, and we're about to take the capital. Come on. Switch up. I need to be here for this. We seize one of their artifacts. I'll have a look at them. I step out of my tent. The siege camp sprawls out before me. A ragged camp of canvas hovers crowded beneath the barren slopes of Adavar and the forest at its back. The sky is choked with smoke from the fires burning in iron cauldrons. Flames so huge they cast long shadows on the desolate field. Flags flutter in a stiff northwestern breeze. The colors stark and bright like the dun sky. Cut timbers lay stacked like a wall outside of the tent. My low retainer approaches and informs me that the siege has ended. I gather my bodyguards and head to the edge of the camp. The Gama of Vikramaditya stands before me, a smoldering ruin. Between here and there, my comrades lie dead on the ground, covered in blood and dirt and shards of wood. Corpses of butchered warriors litter the roads. Black-veiled women wail amidst the wreckage, while the armored men angrily crush the hapless survivors. My men look to me for direction. For once, let my army run wild. We took this place, and we fought very hard for it. My men dragged a surviving court before me after the siege. What should I do with them? By the important ones, you mean their children. That means all their sons are likely serving in their army. I suggest you imprison them all. We occupied our capital, and we do have one of their heirs. Retreat up to the hill, quickly. Be there in 15 days. Not good enough. What can you do, Vikram? We'll be there in 13 days. If not, then we're gonna have to fight in the forest. You know, we'll be outnumbered here. Plus, we took one of their artifacts. The Deva Bhagavati Purana. The text considered a Mahapurana for Devi worshippers. It promotes bhakti towards Mahadevi, such as is one of the most important texts for Shaktism. It celebrates the divine feminine origin of all, the existence of all existence, the creator, the preserver, the destroyer of everything, as well as one who empowers spiritual liberation. It's very good. Put that over there. If we were to liberate our territory, then things will get easier for us. But I guess they do mean that we'd have to conquer most of the land and defeat them in many battles. So get up to the hill quickly. If we can't get there in time, we'll be caught. Actually, we might be out of there soon. We'll be there in 7 days. They'll be there in 12 days. Oh, we got away with it. Just have to retreat up to the hill. Along with the prisoners we took. Oh, look at this. The one who's married to one of his sons who serves in the army. And this is the one who's responsible for the alliance between them and Chalukya. Yes. The alliance between those two nations. If I was going to be the person that wants to spend all of my remaining piety ahead of public execution. Merry Christmas, really? It'll make me very stressed. But executing this person would be the end of the alliance between the two. And I'm sure no doubt it'll anger those who imprisoned by... Oh, that's someone else. Stand guard. Oh, they're coming up. Chances are even. Here in 16 days. Men-at-Arms is fully reinforced. We are alone on this issue. And I hope all you fighting men can fight very well. But we are down one. What difference would that make? It's like, yeah, I mean, we're down a man who's not present at the moment. Oh, wait a minute, this is the occupied territory, that's why you couldn't raise it. What difference would that make? We know they're coming up. Look, stop. We just need... Oh yeah, the new guy. How fast can you get here? I'm talking about by sea, then you move inland. How fast can you get there? 3 months! Well, be on standby. If we get beaten, you join us. Alright? He should join us. So remember, we have the high ground. We chose to defend here. Even though this site nearby the temple's going to be a huge bloodletting, because we're outnumbered, but we have the hills. 16 Nayulu against 11 of ours. Many. But remember, we have the hills. We killed him. We killed that commander. This is the man who was a rival to my father. Oh, I'm sure my father would be happy to hear this news. Who killed him? I didn't see the name. The Sinhalese Hindu. Well done. Well done. And you killed a commander who isn't as good. And this is from one of the sons of Jayaditya of Vengi Chalukya, the current ruler there. Vijayalaya, a big man, stood on the ridge overlooking the battle of the temple of Nalearata, a short distance from the front lines. Me and Yudhishthira observed the enemy's forces' movements. Everything is going as planned, in accordance to what I organized at the start of the battle. When suddenly, he turns to me and points out an unexpected enemy rush into the weaker section of our main force. We must reposition our men to defend that charge, he says, before asking the Gorms to assist in commanding the tactical changes needed. I don't know if I want that. But it gives me some martial lifestyle experience that's badly needed. If I pick up a stress coping trait, this better help me. Yudhishthira, I'm in command here, so we better assist the defense. Follow me, Yudhishthira, I say, before singling my personal guardsmen to follow me into battle. Using my experience, I gave Yudhishthira the tactical commands to follow while maintaining my own authority over the handling the situation. By means of my experience and Yudhishthira's help, we managed to contain the enemy advance, and we both begin to get stuck in the fighting of the front line. I lose Yudhishthira in the fray, and have to pray that he makes it out alive, while swinging my blade through countless foes and shouting commands. It's clear to see my men are glad to have me in command. Otherwise, me or Yudhishthira might have received more than a cut of bruise. I got wounded, but more importantly, the combination of that, my health is poor, so I better be healed and get that stress down. Because this is a very stressful battle. The Palavas have joined. Of late, my courtiers seem to avoid me at all costs. I hear whispers they think I will stop at nothing to achieve my ambitions. Nothing is sacred to me, but that just means I rule with a firm hand. It doesn't mean I'm a monster, does it? Maybe a new cloak would make me feel... maybe instead, Hash will soothe my troubled nerves. You know, it's gonna knock down my learning and my stewardship. Yet, partake in one of these. Where is it? Oh, I'm in the army. I can't consume Hash's cakes now. No. Go fix that mess. After sending a mammoth to halt the enemy advance, I continue to work on the strategic execution of other tactical plans I made before that. A few minutes pass as I'm distracted by other happenings before startles me appearing next with blood stained and wounded. My lord, I failed you. I look over the enemy advance to see it unscathed from his efforts. Fine, I'll do it myself. We both got wounded, so... fair game, huh? Beat the bastards, but at what cost? New guys coming in, so we sit in the hills and wait. And reinforce some men-at-arms in friendly territory. We should take this area. It's got a lower defense. 3, 2, 2. Okay. Malaya, that's the next place to occupy. They still have sister-in-law in their prison. Is it a house arrest or a dungeon, by the way? House arrest. I'm sure they'll send it back to her. No doubt. He'll be here in 26 days, and he'll link up with us. Because we need every available fighting man here. While we sit here and wait for our men-at-arms to be reinforced. Yeah, I got hurt again. Ah, 1 second. The hash cakes. Take command, Vikram. Be back in a moment. Just a few bites and the stress seems to flow from my body. My mind begins to fog and a sense of peace and restfulness overcomes me. There's nothing quite relaxing as good as... It's only for 2 years. Bring me a platter. I recline in my seat as I casually reach for another cake. The mellow taste cloying my tongue, a pleasing fog slowly washes my troubles away. I have not been this calm in weeks. Being here, this platter has topped cakes. It's enough. This is all I need. I just simply want to feel better. That's all. Men at arms have been reinforced and we'll be ready to depart. So, we need to occupy more territories. Take Malaya next, and then after that, Anuradhapura, then liberate Madurai. That's all on the plan. Go, Vikram. Supply will become an issue soon, but not until we get to the plains that we'll have to occupy as well. Bring out the siege master. You still here? Good. They're just following along. We'll end this episode soon, so it's likely that we will see the conclusion of this conflict in the next episode. Remember to retreat to the hills when need be. Unless they plan on try to retake this capital. You still make good income. If you want to kill that stress further, you go hunting if you wish. Oh, by the way, it's almost full control. You might as well stop. Yeah, just stop at this point. Go for trained commanders. It'll make our fighters fight a little more better. For the next battle that will be ready. Oh, I think I know what they're doing. Yep, I know what they're definitely doing. We can't take this area. Get back. To the hills again. Get out of there. Yep, they're doing exactly as what they're doing again. The only difference is we're low on supplies. And I'm a wounded man. Not yet recovered from my wounds. We'll probably win. They got some time to catch up. But the king is there. So, perhaps this will be the decisive battle. Again, here in Malayarata. They'll be there in 6 days, so that means the battle will be ongoing by then. So we take a couple of casualties, and then they just arrive to reinforce, and we'll be dealing with them. Across the battlefield, I see King Dapula atop his horse. I always learn to try to get a position of the enemy to better understand how they think and how to prepare their attacks. But with King Dapula, I can't imagine anything being discussed about his religious views. Theravada is sure to be a plainly false religion. I stop to think. I keep trying to learn his images battle and use that against him, or shut off any invasive religious thoughts. I will not stray into that heresy. Controlled territory defender advantage. Does that affect occupied, by the way? Because my advantage is currently 29. Add that with this. No. No, it has to be in territory you control, not occupied. Mahasana. Indulging myself in combat with so many enemies' levies, I find myself slashed to weaker, less trained forces with ease. Cutting down the few enemies for a few minutes. The soldiers alongside are equally thrilled. as their unmatched skills get them easy kills. Eventually I find myself clashing with a slightly shorter, skinnier opponent, who rushes me frantically. I step aside and allow them to fall past me, stumble to the ground. As they stand themselves up, the helmet slips off, revealing a face of a boy, no older than 16 years old, and have a single hair grown on their face. Whilst they clutch their blade bravely, I know this fight's unfair, but do I subdue them without killing him, or do I cut it down like a rest? He's 15. Every advantage is needed. He's got a sword. I kill the boy. The Battle of Temple of Malayarata rages on. I find myself drawn into fight more than usual. Thinking my fights and manage to slay a few enemy footmen with the protection of my guardsmen and Gajabahu. For a moment I feel indestructible, cutting through waves of foes of my soldiers like a squad of elite warriors. Then it happens. My lord! Shouts a familiar voice as they dive in front of me and takes the fatal blow of death from my chest. The blow came from none other than Malappa. Another Vengi Chalukya, who wrenches their blade from the lifeless body of Gajabahu, who paced towards me, definitely attentive. He was a Senhali's man serving in our army. There's a 4% chance that I'll be killed by him. You will pay for that, Malappa! As Malappa charges towards you, I take a step back, blade at the ready, swinging his blade violently at my chest. I block it perfectly, a jab on the shoulder of his sword arm. Whilst he wails in pain, unable to swing back, I draw my blade to my side and swing it through the base of his neck. His head tumbles on the floor before me, eyes and mouth still frantically. I stop momentarily to usher a prayer for Gajabahu. Now it's not time for grief. I return to the battle, shaken but alive. I've won, but at what cost? At least I avenged the death of Gajabahu. And this was during a retreat phase, absurdly enough. I surveyed the battlefield, contemplating how this battle will be remembered. I gazed toward the dead that remained. I noticed a group of my soldiers approach, and they politely bowed before me. My lord, we cornered the remaining enemies since they made a valiant stand. They gave their lives protecting this banner, this Lankan war banner. Advantage in hills. Normally, we would just put in a celebration bar, but no. This will make a fine addition to my collection. Put that in my court. Not front and center. I would put that if it was a tapestry. Put that over there. Consider that as war loot. 91%. Either win one more battle or occupy another holding, and then the war will be won. But keep in mind, the Pallavas have joined the war. We don't even know how much men, we don't even... Well, this is a job for you. But this episode's run long, so we're actually going to close the episode here. So in the next episode, we will see the conclusion of the war, and as well as all the other things that will come along with it. So I hope you'll join us immediately for the next one. But until then, so long for now.